Reze Arc is currently the second highest rated anime ever behind only Frieren, and people have made video after video after video singing its praises. I saw the movie in theaters and appreciate its merits, but I'd like to offer a bit of a different perspective, because respectfully, this vile creature lives in my nightmares. Let me say this, the reason I am making this video is because I love Chainsaw Man. The first season was on my favorites list for the 2020s, one of my first videos is about how much I love it, and Denji's even on my favorite characters 3x3. But in terms of the anime specifically, I feel that this movie was a bit of a step down, to be honest. I appreciate some of the gorgeous action, animation, and choreography, of course, and I'm cool. I gooned to Angel Devil. But I can't be alone in feeling like the dynamic between Denji and Reze that the full first half of the movie was centered around had no real chemistry at all. This mostly boils down to Reze herself not really saying anything that made me feel she was interesting, as her sole focus was prying into Denji's personal life so she could find out how to better groom him. She used all the textbook strategies, laughing at his jokes and getting overly touchy right away, making him feel like he's one of a kind, asking him to leave his job and run away with her, love-bombing him, everything. I understand that this is the point of her character and in certain respects is good writing, but it makes the tone a bit murky for me. Take the pool scene for example. It's supposed to be a beautiful moment where two characters are vulnerable with each other and express their adoration, but I'm so disillusioned by Reze's textbook grooming techniques by this point, and generally uninterested in her, that I can't see this indulgent and beautiful scene as, well, very beautiful at all. And you get the spider trapping the moth in its web interspersed with the action here. It's just like, whoa, what could it all mean? The pieces, they're flying together in my head like a fucked up puzzle. Yeah, it's made extremely clear that she will betray him. Yet we see the world through the emotional perspective of Denji for much of the movie. This is a pretty interesting choice, but unfortunately doesn't really communicate anything new about his character. Denji being gullible and averse to learning from his missteps is a common theme in Chainsaw Man, and is great characterization by the way, but when it's the only interesting thing happening, and it's far from the first time that it's happened, and it's involving the least interesting character yet, I'm sorry, I don't want to watch a weak-ass pool AMV. Reze's personality is about as well defined as her nipples until the big reveal in the last few minutes of the movie, where Kishibe offhandedly mentions that she was also abused as a kid, implying there to be some genuine element of kinship amidst her grooming schemes. Once again, a good concept that ultimately fell flat on its face for me. It's just so tacked on and lacks any real punch by this point in the story, except to predictably have her telegraphed-ass death in the next scene be slightly more dramatic. Speaking of dramatic, the music in this movie feels a bit manipulative to my ears. These overbearing, swelling, emotional tracks whenever something sad happens to a character I'm not invested in always kinda irks me, to be honest. And I'm just sitting there, in the theater, looking bored out of my mind, but still cute as hell, wondering, wait a minute, am I the one being groomed right now? Why do they want me to feel sad so bad? Please stop trying to force it. Speaking of forced, one of the other things that doesn't work for me is the movie references. I don't mind fan service that's just saying, hey look, we know some movies, it's Reze doing thing from movie. That's fine, I guess. However, when there's this much of an emphasis on it, I can't help but for these scenes to just remind me of the vastly better versions that they're referencing. For example, the No Country for Old Men reference as Reze chokes out some goofball plot device. The scene this references has such an intense build-up that depicts Anton Chigurh choking out a man with the chain on his handcuffs to get the key. As he's doing this, the guy's jugular explodes, the struggle and tension is immense and drawn out, and it establishes Anton as a cold-blooded and insane man. Here, Reze just chokes out some random goof with her arms while looking up into the sky while it's raining. That's mostly it. Which is fine, but I can't say it felt especially inspired or captured the essence of that scene whatsoever. And apparently we're talking about
It's maybe the best animated project I've ever seen
here, so I don't know. I have many more minor gripes with this movie, like My Glorious King's B plot having insufficient time to develop, this goofball, redundant instances of the movie describing what's happening instead of just letting the animation speak for itself, like when Aki's fighting Reze and explaining his powers to the audience as if we don't have eyes, or Good God, the several scenes in which Reze slowly walks up to Denji describing how she's totally about to end him in 3, 2, 1.5, 1.25, 1, 0. What? He got away? Who could have foreseen this stunning turn of events? The essence of it is that I find it remarkably well written, but not overly effective in its execution whatsoever, at least speaking on the anime specifically. But that doesn't really get to the heart of why I'm making this video. The real impetus is a mindset I've come across in more genres than just shonen anime. There's a YouTuber I actually quite like, who generally knows ball, but I heard him say something so goofy here which really made everything click into place for me. Because while he had a grander point to make in his video, I've seen many others say similar things who don't. He said that this is not your typical anime. There's no fan service, which is crazy. The plot doesn't spell itself out for you, and there's not even any named attacks. What? Okay, welcome to 90% of anime ever made. Making a point of Denji not saying chainsaw punch when he lets his fist fly made me realize this movie is perfect for people who don't really like anime or even films themselves. This is perfect for people who go to the theater once a year and move on with their lives, which is fine. I have no delusions of superiority over someone who engages with movies more casually. If anything, they probably just have better things to do with their lives than I do. But I feel like this movie is a wet dream for somebody who would say something like, "Shonen anime is usually just dumb fun without a lot of substance. But this movie is actually a good one and a piece of pure art." Like, their expectations are so low for an anime or a shonen that this movie does anything remotely emotional or dramatic and the 10 out of 10 scores just start flowing in like a tsunami. I get it, the movie is in theaters only right now, so mostly people who were excited enough to pay up front are going to see it, which is going to skew the score, and it's also just very recent. But I don't want to live in a universe where this is the second best anime in the world under any pretense. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't know. I don't really care too much about that, I guess, but I really want to understand it. If you love this movie, why? When I turned to my friend in the theater after Reze was rizzing up Denji, he said, "Yep, I would have folded right there." And it made me wonder if it's just my general lack of care for Reze as a character that almost all of my issues with this movie really sprout from. But I want to hear your guys' opinion because I have heard a lot of people who I really respect be extremely complimentary of this movie. I don't think I have the final end-all be-all opinion on it. And it's just really interesting because I'm not going to lie, y'all, I don't really see it.
You know, I don't know, man. It just feels like you're kind of being biased to the movie.
I mean, what would there be for me to be biased about? I love Chainsaw Man. That's all it is.
I guess it's fair. Yes.
Oh shoot, I gotta go, man. Sorry.
What's up?
No, it's nothing. I gotta free the nipple rally at 6.
Really?
Special thanks to all my patrons for supporting me. Izzy Boy, Naymaj, Karta, Sumgoon, Trey, Funky Boy Haas, Ev, Aesop, Artemis Locke, and Hermit's Nook, but my dullard cameraman stopped filming too early. Alright, have a good day, y'all.